So I think I'm just going to wait here a few minutes, see who joins us. Hopefully, there'll be a few people who will join us tonight, and we will have a lovely little time reviewing. So I'm just going to wait a couple minutes. Hopefully, some folks will come and somebody's here. I have one person here. Introduce yourself, please, sir, or madam, who is ever here watching, and please uh, if you're here, let me know you're here. Say hey. I'll say hey back. Just gonna desperately text a couple people, tell them I'm live. So there's a couple people here now. So let me start with a hello, everybody. It's Barbara. And of course, and we're starting off this year by reviewing two dolls from what is considered to be the big doll, one of the big doll events of the year. I would say it's the premier event. And of course, once again, we're looking at this backwards. I have not yet figured out how to make this unbackwards. But in the year of the pamphlet, hold that thought. I'll come back to that in a little bit. In the year of the pamphlet, this year Integrity Toys did a really nice job with their Fashion Week convention guide. They decided to give us this little pamphlet, which was the schedule of events and the dates. And Lady Oriella represented the couture of the event. So it started on, I'm sorry guys, it started on October 9th and it went through the 13th. So it's a very nice, it was very much like here's your guide to the convention. The convention dolls were actually pretty cool. And this is Lady Oriella Gray. She was the East 59th Street contribution to the collection. Mostly it was FR, Fashion Royalty. She was East 59th Street. She is, as always, quite beautiful. And I wanted to save her for this event because the two dolls I'm going to be doing, Plum Powers and Lady Oriella, both of them are sort of holiday-y, perhaps not intentionally meant to be holiday-esque, but they are. So I'm just moving her in because I'm noticing her earrings, there are dangle earrings, and they were a little off. So let me talk about Lady Oriella. She is, of course, a East 59th Street body with brown gray eyes. Her lashes are real and they are applied. And I want to say that the eye makeup is mostly gray. Unfortunate pun on her name. And I think there might be like a little bit of a blush color right above that, but that also might be the reflection of the light. Her lips are a very nice matte rouge color. And just continuing to turn her, she has this lovely dangle of a flower pattern. Let's see if I can put this down. It's a flower and diamond diamante. Her hair is upswept. With a braid at the top of the ponytail. And then the ponytail goes to the base of her neck / the shoulder bone. Not a tremendous amount of product in it. Basically here to hold the curl. And then there is product, obviously, at the front where her bangs, not really bangs, but where these nice loops are. Um, little tricky to now this is interesting. Usually when you have a statement bow like this, you wouldn't necessarily put um jewelry with it. But she has this very beautiful diamond pendant, which is an unusual mold for them. I'm pretty sure we're going to keep seeing it. Once they do it, we'll see it again and again. But it's a beautiful setting in diamonds. I like it a lot. I don't but it's hard though because it's here, but you would have to be looking at the doll above instead of straight on to see it. This bow does not come off, by the way. Otherwise, I think I would be taking it off. Just to show you how gorgeous she is. This dress is. I'll show it to you from the side. I'll lift her arm, tuck it in a little. It is a very dark blue on a lighter blue floral pattern. It's not sequined, but there is sparkle and sheen to the over blue material. The base blue is not sparkly, but the over blue is. And of course, like every good Integrity Toys ensemble, it's going to close with hook and eye in the back. And I just wanted to put her back on the base a little bit better. Excuse me about that. There we go. The dress is lined in the same color blue. You can see it here. The dress is lined in the same color blue as the bow, which is sewn on. You cannot take it off. Her shoes came off, but that's not any fault of theirs. Very nice, simple sateen black shoe. Sort of like a bow here, but not really. It's quite lovely. What is to be noted is the return of the longer nail. They started doing it, they being Integrity, of course, started doing it this year. The nails are noticeably longer and they will grab you if you're not careful. And are we about to have a visitor? Perhaps. I don't know if you can see her yet. My cat is starting to sniff around the diorama. You may start to see her in a few minutes. Anyway, it's a lovely, and of course, here she comes. We'll just let her stroll on through. There we go. Delilah's cameo for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who are here. So anyway, very lovely. And she does come with this lovely, I guess you would call it like an opera coat. It is the same shade of blue as her bow, and this is where things get a little weird because once you put this coat on, it overwhelms it. It's almost like you see nothing but the bow, which is unfortunate because the dress itself, as I said, is quite lovely. Oriella has tended to come with these very formal evening looks, and I guess that's in keeping with the fact that she does, as the storyline go, have a British title. So of course she's going to be this couturied look. So yeah, you see what I'm saying, guys? You completely lose the necklace, you lose the dress. It's almost like this becomes a maternity ball gown. I guess that's not the best way to say this, so I'm just going to tuck it back in. Interestingly, she does not come with a clutch. She doesn't come with much by the way of jewelry. She does, however, come with, and I'm not putting them on, again, because I feel like this is a bit too much. She comes with black gloved hands that go with the gauntlet length sateen opera gloves. I don't want to put them on. I mean, I feel like there's a statement and then there's the overstatement. And that's a bit unusual for Chris Stockel because usually he knows how to properly balance. So I'm actually going to take the jacket off again. I wanted you to see it with it on, but I'm going to take it off and simply let her work the gown. Okay. So that is our lovely Miss Ariella Gray. So I mean, I like this is I've seen she does a lot of blue. She does a lot of blue gowns. She is quite lovely. This one ultimately, believe it or not, this is about the only time you're going to see her like this, because the next time you see her, I will have had her repainted to look like Meghan Markle, because I would like to have a Meghan Markle doll, and I think this one, just by the hair and the face pose, is a good one to be Meghan Markle. So let's take Ariella down and let's bring in the unintentionally but perfectly Christmassy looking. Whoops. And off went flying her glasses. The unintentionally but definitely Christmassy looking Plum Powers. Now, I think you can see right away what I mean by it's unintentionally very Christmassy looking. The suit is quite interesting. The suit has elements of being of Asian influence, if I can put it that way. It has these elements of sort of besides the cherries, it's a cherry pattern on a black base with this red cummerbund in the back. And it doesn't obviously and it's just it has this sort of oriental feel because of the cummerbund, but not really. Hang on a second, my cat is trying to eat one of the props. Do not eat the prop. Um she does the most striking thing about her, which we will get to in a minute, is her face sculpt. So I'm going to start actually then from the bottom and work my way to the top. She is wearing a very nice pair of boots with a gold buckle in the front. They zip in the back. Moderate heel. The pants do not go all the way down. They were meant to be and above the ankle, as they do. I'm going to turn her to the back. As we do, we'll stop by and say that she has a pocket on both sides, and it is functioning pockets. This obi, this cummerbund is not real. As you can see, it stops in the back. It's sewn into the jacket. The jacket will close with hook and eye, and the jacket is lined in black suiting. Let's turn her back again toward the front. I hate saying that. Turn her back to the front, but you know what I mean. And again, back to the unintentional Christmassy notion. You have this beautiful gray and red, green and red beaded with gold charmed necklace that ties into the suit pattern. She has a red dot ring with a gold. It's almost like this is a red dot, the gold coming into the gold setting, and then you would place it on her hand. Hopefully it will stay on. I now pronounce you an interesting part of the industry. There we go. There is her ring, which is not staying on. God forbid they do. Try one more time on a different finger. Here we go. There's the ring. Now she is wearing another ring on her what is her left hand, but looks like the right to you as I'm turning it toward you. It's a very strange gold, sort of an Art Deco setting. It's just a solid gold bar. There is no gemstone in it. If there was, I lost it, but I don't think there was. But the most important and the most intriguing thing about her is the sculpt. This is, oops, let me turn the light. Here we go. This is the first time that we have an older woman sculpt. And I think it is achieved by giving her much more definition at the cheekbone. And it looks like also there's like her mouth is set in a bit further back from the cheekbone. There's also a bit more to her at the jaw. So she's sort of, I don't know if she's Tallulah Bell's boss or what role she plays, but she is going to play something of a role here. Oops. She is going to play something of a role here. So I see now we have 4 people who have joined us. Can you please say hi, and whoever you are? I was just finishing up talking about Plum Powers. And just to say that she's got black eyeliner. Her lashes are real. They are applied. And she has brown eyeliner at the base of the lid and then nothing going toward the top. And again, oh, hey, Vince is here. Hey, Vince. So I was just saying that I think they achieved the look of making Plum Powers look older. I was saying that I think that they achieved that look by giving her, this looks very theatrical, I'm sorry about that. I think they've achieved that look by giving her more definition around the cheekbones and the mouth. Everybody wants her. But this, by the way, are the glasses she came with, and in keeping with the fine tradition of Barbara K. Emanuele, I cannot get the glasses to stay on, so guess what? They're not going on. She also comes with, again, the nails, which match her lips. Interestingly, now that I'm looking at her, she's actually got the same shade of lipstick as Oriella. So therefore, they're both going to have the same shade of nails polish and toenail polish, and again, those extended longer nails. She comes with a metallic red faux Birkin bag. And as I said, Oriella did not come with a clutch. And I would have rather she came with a clutch than with the opera gown. So here is Plum's bag. She was also supposed to come with a phone, I think, and I don't know where it went, because when I opened the box, it was not there, which is probably to say that I misplaced it. And here is the red fur that is supposed to go like so. The devil wears fur. But it's like, take one thing off, ladies. So I'm going to leave the fur off. I like the idea that Integrity finally went older. They went for the older woman, and I'm glad that they did that. So that makes me somewhat happy that they went for the older doll. So as I said, this is going to be a time for me to talk about all the things that have happened so far in the Dolly year. And I wanted, and some of these dolls are, well, all of them are pretty much wearing items that I've bought through the year or not. Actually, Tula Bell is wearing, if you remember when we had the Lana Turner, was it Lana Turner? It was I think it was Lana Turner. When we had the Lana Turner dolls, it might have been Joan, it was definitely not Joan Crawford. We had, I think we had the Lana Turner dolls, and we had a sweater dress doll. That's the sweater, and I put her in a straight black skirt. So there is Tula Bell, and then Tula Bell is leaning on an Everlyn Weaverton that I got this year. This is one of the more recent Vitois. This is an older Poppy Parker, African American Poppy Parker. The sweater is not new, but the pants are. The jeans are new, and they are a floral pattern. And of course, because I am obsessed with these folks. Uh, this lovely lady is holding a Burberry bag made by La Boutique. The Ralph Lauren Mega Tote is also by La Boutique. So guess what? So is the purse. So all of the purses are by La Boutique. If we come over here, by the Christmas tree, we have an Adele that's actually a year old, but her purple and gold ensemble is very new. It's also by, guess who? La Boutique. And behind her is, it's a poppy face on an FR body. It's a hybrid. This is from Fancy Face, and she's wearing a cute little navy and red ensemble. Nobody's got shoes on. Let's just call it. Nobody's got shoes on. So that's who everybody is. I thought it would be nice if some of the ladies came out to meet one of the new ladies. So sit let's sit the ladies down. Let's sit Oriella down. I don't think I can bend Oriella's legs. So Oriella's gonna lounge, and we'll sit her this way. Oriella's gonna come over here under the tree. And I'm going to bring out one more doll, and this is my me doll on the Edith Ann rocking chair. She was rerouted by Andrea Collum. And if you notice, what's new about her is I've had this doll. This was an original Exotic Fire Veronique. She was repainted by John Copeland well over a decade ago. Then I took her hair, I completely unrooted her so I could put her in wigs. And then Andrea this year did her hair again and gave her gray hair because I have gray hair. And I thought it was time for me to own up to that. So there we go. So now we've got everybody here. The cast of hundreds, if you will. And let's talk about the year that is our community. I did have someone ask me to talk about, which I will happily do first, the career dolls, and in particular the Ken career dolls. Now, when the person originally asked me to talk about them, they said, "Oh yeah, there's a career doll, one of the Ken career dolls." Hopefully this will work. I may have to hold this up. This isn't quite working the way I wanted it to because you can't see what I'm showing you. And I'm not sure how to make this work. I'm sorry about this, but I'm trying to show you the three Ken career dolls. There's a soccer player. There's a barista who the guy originally said was a bartender. Let me see if I can make the screen darker. That'll work. Hang on. Uh, let's see if this works. Doing it mono. Nope, doesn't work. So, back to the original. So anyway, so when the guy originally said, like, yeah, there's a bartender, I'm like, what? What the hell does Ken bartender look like? Anyway, barista, lifeguard, fireman. Don't worry. And of course, the barista, of course, has a mun. God forbid. So we have all of that. And we also have this guy, who is a long-haired, blonde Ken surfer boy dude. So this is what's coming fashionista lines. Uh, they're not terribly posable. I mean, Mattel has never gone the way of the action figures to do them completely posable. So I'll be curious to see what they do. But the really big, they're not doing hero Kens the way they've done the hero ladies. And I did like the Rosa Parks doll. I am glad that her family made the point of asking Mattel, and Mattel did agree to do this. They agreed to add to it that Rosa Parks did a lot more than that one moment on the bus. I'm curious. I'm curious to see who the heroes will be in the coming years. It is a line that I think they're going to continue. What isn't going to continue, so we were told this year, is the Silkstones. And long may they rest in peace. They haven't been interesting or collectible in about 5 years. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. I haven't bought them. I haven't wanted them in 5 years. I think the last good run was when they did the collection of Russian dolls. After that, it just fell off. I don't know why. They tried to do a doll in a blue suit that looked like Who Did Me and ran. That was what I kind of finally gave up on the line. I was really hoping that the Barbie Wisconsin line would have been a little more interesting. It's not. I was hoping also that uh, there would be, that for the last run of Silkstones, they try to do something a little more interesting than what we've seen so far. So far, it's another Barbie in another black dress. So I was not terribly impressed by that. And yeah, so I mean, I'd like to see what Silkstone's going to do in 2020, how Robert Best or Bill Groening is going to end the line in 2020. I'm really not expecting a whole lot though. Oh, hey Christina. Nice to see you. I was just saying, I was just talking about the Silkstones. So I would like to see, now we've been promised a Silkstone gift set to end all Silkstone gift sets. I mean, they did a really good one with High Savories and Tea. They did another good one with the Hollywood Hostess, but this was all back at the beginning of the run. I'd like to see if they'll do another Dusk Till Dawn. You do collect them, so let me ask you, Christina, are you sorry to see them go? How do you want them to end, Christina? How would you like to see them end? What would you like to see as an ending to the line? We will pause here so hopefully Christina will respond. How would you like to see the line end? I'd like to see it end with something a little more colorful than the Dusk Till Dawn gift set with the doll and the mix and match pieces. Maybe do a variation on that in a different color and throw in some lingerie. That's what I'd like to see. I don't know if we will though. Yeah. Well, the articulation, see, I was back and forth with the articulation. And this also goes to touch and to weight. when I did own the Silkstones, and I also, by the way, had the Elizabeth Taylor that was on a Silkstone body, and the Grace Kelly that was on a Silkstone body. They were heavier, so you had to think about displaying them differently. You had to have them more securely on a stand, and the stands we were getting with the Silkstones weren't necessarily doing the job. And the Grace Kelly Silkstones, that was another example of what are you doing? The wedding gown that she wore, that was extraordinary, and the detailing was beautiful. But they also did the trousseau. They did the dress that she wore when she came off the boat when she sailed to Monaco. It felt scratchy. It didn't feel quality. I think that's always been a big part of my complaint with the Silkstones, that a lot of the material was not as high quality as it should have been for a collectible job. Well, the what weight concerns do you have with IT? I've never had a problem with the weight. I've had problems sometime when you put the doll and the ensemble together. Say, for example, just to bring her back in, just for Oriella, for example. If once you put this dress does not allow for a lot of movement, so getting her on the stand was difficult. And then you add the coat to it, the opera coat, and that does tend to throw the balance off. But it there is a concern, and I get it, especially with a doll that is as old as Exotic Fire, that the joints are starting to go and they're starting to break. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to see too, Vince, for the Silkstone. I want to see the base, the doll is dressed in the lingerie, and um then you can decide to put her in the day suit or the whatever. Uh let's go back to the lovely Miss Plum Parker. This one suit, at least, even though this it's definitely suiting. It's suiting material. But her, at least, I can pose. I can cross her legs, I can stand her up, I can have her doing this, we're like, "Oh my god, you know, oh my god, what are these, oh my god, I need coffee, get these people away from me." So you can, yeah, I got which one? Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. I do have Plum. I wanted her because she's an older woman. And duh, so am I now. Note the gray hair in the Exotic Fire. I got her. I love her. She's very well done in terms of the sculpting of her face. She does look older. Um, Interestingly, I'm looking at her, and I'm looking at her eyes, and I'm looking at her lips, and I'm wondering, could Miss Powers have a relationship to Tulabelle that perhaps that's mommy? That would be about the right age. But I think David would have told us. He wouldn't leave us hanging like this. Um, Here she is. I redressed her. That is the Tulabelle. I have a Yeti for it. I don't have Devil Made Me do it. That's Yeti for it. And I redressed her in a just a sweater and a long skirt. So it's sort of like, sort of a serious, if she's the assistant. This is the boss and that's the assistant look. So that's why I dressed her that way. When I started the show, I held up the backstage guide, which was, and I'm sorry this is backwards. I don't know how to. Yeti is cool. If you can get Yeti for it, get it. What's cool about Yeti for it, and I'll talk about the pamphlets in a second. What's cool about Yeti for it is she came with two outfits. One was definitely something that a grown-up Tulabelle would go to the rack and wear right now. The other piece, the dress, very much felt to me like this is something her grandmother gave her. Her grandmother wore it, Tulabelle had it cleaned up, and now she can wear it. So there was definitely that connection that this was a piece that they could both wear. That's what I thought of Yeti for it. That this was a sharing of the two families. Um, So we're starting to say that this is the year of pamphlets, and IT gave us this very nice pamphlet as the guide to the convention. You had room in the back to write notes. In the center, it's telling you where to go and how to get there. So I thought that was nice. But here, guys, I got to tell you, I got a really big surprise this year, and I don't, of course, I don't, of course, you would think I would have brought one out to have shown you and lay them out like this, but I didn't think fast enough. I was very, very, very surprised by Measy. Um, the first two Measy dolls I had, the weight was completely off. They felt too light. Joints were too loose. They wouldn't hold poses. The lingerie was literally falling off of their bodies. So I was not happy. And the rooting of one of the dolls' hair was terrible. But this is the Palm Garden Hotel collection. It is, I mean, they literally, I feel like they started at one end of the football field and got to the other end. How do you, well, what can advice can I give you? Um, well, I can tell you to get on Facebook and to become part of the Facebook groups, which I think you already are, Christina. And you'll find in those Facebook groups there are people there are people who will charge 2 and 3 times the price. But there are also people like me who will charge basically the list price and maybe cover the shipping to them and then the shipping to you. So they're not looking to really scam you. So you have to be patient and know that within 6 months, the convention dolls come down in price. Within 2 or 3 months, depending on how the line, a doll line is ultimately received, they come down in price. You have to be patient, and you kind of have to stalk eBay a little bit, and you have to stalk Facebook a little bit, and eventually you will find people who will do reasonable prices. You may have to get bits and pieces. Buy the nude doll first, and then get pieces of the outfit until you can have the complete ensemble. But a lot of times you don't need the complete ensemble because things like the jewelry and the purses and the shoes, they repeat with slight color variations. So maybe you're looking at, yeah, patience is key. Here's another great example. Big Chief Studios. Excellent, excellent, excellent 12-inch action figure makers. Did a wonderful run of the Benedict. Okay, it's either Cumberbatch or Cumberbunch, but you know who I'm talking about. He also played Doctor Strange. Very good looking guy. Did a great job of Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock and the actor who played Holmes. They did really good sculpts of them. But they were charging close to $350 American USD for each action figure. When they originally listed, they were charging $350, $400 an action figure, which was insane. But then at the very beginning of December, they were doing like their own version of Dolly Days, and they wound up selling off the Sherlock and the Watson for less than like 100 a piece. So, eventually prices do come down. I also understand right now, I'm not sure if it's sold out yet, but the Love is Love gift set, um, that is evidently selling at a much cheaper rate than it was originally offered. So if you want to get the Love is Love gift set, which by the way, I absolutely would get it. If not, and this is a case where I got the Love is Love gift set and I parted it out. I sold both guys, but I kept the suits. The tailoring on those tuxedos was immaculate. Immaculate, I tell you. These people, I mean, there was one of the two dress suits, the white shirt. The pink shirt is a typical tuxedo shirt. It's very nice, but it's a typical tux. But the white tuxedo shirt, was, you could, by the seaming on the shirt, you could tell that this was the idea that basically this tux was custom made for this guy. If this guy was a real person, he walked into Barney's. Let's now observe a moment of silence for Barney's. Barney's New York is closing, so yeah. So the tailoring on this was extraordinary. And I would just get it for that. You can I by the way, I don't know if you were here, but I was talking about um who made some of these outfits. You have some Joby Torak is in here. You have La Boutique in here. I really wish I could remember who made this red suit outfit. I can't. Um, there's more La Boutique over here. People like La Boutique do amazing tailoring as well. And La Boutique are the people who do Purse of the Month Club. Speaking of Purse of the Month Club, I think I covered up the Ralph Lauren. There you go. Purse of the Month Club. So yeah, so you have to start to get to know people, and you get to know them through Etsy and eBay. You just have to get a feel for them. Again, La Boutique, Matisse, Hilda Westerfeld, Vince Noel, um, Elena Elena Priv. I think that's her name on Etsy. These are all people who know their shit about tailoring. Those are the people that you want to get their pieces because they are classic and you can move them from line to line to line, and it's going to uh who is I'm sorry, I don't know who Kim Jones is. I don't mind the intermingling of streetwear. I mind the obsession with fanny packs. They need to be letting go of the fanny packs. This needs to stop. Two or three of the monarchs had fanny packs. Please stop. We do not need the fanny packs. They need to die. If The Rock couldn't pull it off, neither can you. Um. So yeah. So there's that. Um. If you're talking about now, there's somebody else who's coming up with tailoring, and I just started to talk about them. This is Measy. Their Palm Garden Hotel. First of all, and like I was saying, they went from one end of the football field to the other, or to to use the other reference, one end of the pitch, other. Um, just the bodies much better. The feel of the bodies are much better. The joints are tighter. The doll hair is better. The clothing is 1,000% better. And we got this little booklet that they sent with us, introducing us to Lily and her dress, Kate, and Fatima. Fatima is one of the original dolls, and so Fatima is an original doll from their run. Uh, Kate and Lily are new characters, so they really upped their game, and I was really glad to see that. So you want to keep your eye on Measy and Denise dolls, Rudy T. They sell them. The bodies are sort of closer to Silkstone, but even chest wise and waist wise, they're even just that little bit smaller than Silkstone. But the feel, I mean, holding them, it's called the Velvet Touch, and it felt incredibly smooth. I understand some of the other convention dolls are supposed to have the same feel. Yeah, Christina. There's Barbie Silkstone, which is God rest its soul. There is Integrity, and now there are Mizi. Mizi. I filmed the Mizi review last night. I'm gonna put it up. I'm probably gonna edit it tomorrow, which means they'll go up on Tuesday, and you can watch it for yourself. They are really nice dolls. Um, Now, if you also want to talk about female dolls, adult collectibles, um, this is where you would have to go and take a look at a place like 1/6 Republic on Facebook. And you would want to take a look at Z as in zebra, Z. I'm gonna say it ZCWO. Z as in zebra, C as in candy, W as in water, O as in order. They are an action figure company, and they do some really nice female face sculpts. And the bodies are getting better. That they're not some weird teenage fantasy. They're getting much more realistic in their proportions, and they're actually quite nice, and they wear their clothes well, so that's certainly. And action, and because they're action figures and not fashion dolls, the head sculpts and the bodies tend to be a little bit cheaper if you can get an American dealer. Of course, if you're buying them from overseas, you got to worry about all the overseas um tariffs and such. But yeah, you definitely you want to start. If you go, if not to buy it, but just to like at least look, just go to eBay and do 1/6 female. One you can actually just number 1, number 6 scale female, just to get a sense of what's out there, and what's buyable. The lingerie is always a little like, "Ugh." But they are getting better with making suits, and they are getting better, and they've always been good with making casual clothes. So that is something you also might want to look out. Um, I have Vince. I have the three new Meezies. The two new characters, Kate and Lily, and Fatima in a black velvet Christmas suit. They look really good. As I said, I'm going to put the reviews going up probably on Tuesday afternoon for everybody to check out. So, the last thing I wanted to say about in the year that is, um, the last thing I wanted to say, I really should probably have some alcohol here, since this is what everybody's been talking about and has been going on all along, is the COPA, the issues with COPA. To make a very long story short, and when I tell you it's a very long story, I mean this is a story that started back in September, and is still going on. This has to do with uh, YouTube sold the information of its users, and in particular violation, the information of children, to advertisers without their permission or consent. And the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission of the US government, fined YouTube and told them they have to knock it off. So YouTube's solution, which was not a solution, but really more like, well, if I have to suffer, you have to suffer. They have now gone to all of the content creators, which is the fancy name of saying people who put up videos on a regular basis. They've gone to all of the content creators and said, if you make a video that may be of interest to children, and they're defining children up to the age of, I think, 14. If you make a video that may be of interest to children that they would want to watch, you now have to mark your video as being kid friendly. And if it is kid friendly, you are no longer going to be allowed to be on the main YouTube channel. You're going to be pushed over to the YouTube Kids platform, which means how you make your money off of advertising, what kind of advertising you can have in the videos, the things you can actually do in the videos is going to change radically. Now, I'm not monetized, so this doesn't really impact me at all, but it impacts my brother, and it impacts a lot of the people that I watch, and I try to pick up some of their style and their technique. All of these people were basically starting to drink in their videos, like actual, like had a beer in their hand and were drinking on camera. just to say that they were not kid friendly, and that just in an attempt to stay on the main YouTube channel, which was kind of hysterical and kind of sad at the same time. Um, but basically, the whole idea was if you if you're doing anything that a kid might want to watch, uh, let me finish my thought, Christina. I'll come back to you. Um, Basically, anything that a kid might want to watch is subject to these new rules. So, come later in January, you're probably going to see a whole lot of people disappearing from YouTube that used to be around but are gone now. Why? Because they either can't figure out the COPA rules, because we have yet to get a completely straight answer about COPA from anybody. And we also have other issues with um what exactly is kid friendly content and why. So I have to wait and see what I want to do. um I mean, I have like 10,000 remits to do, and I'm going to do those reviews. Now this is and all right. Let me finish my thought. I'll come back and talk a little more about remit in a second. That'll probably be the last thing I'm going to talk about. Um, I have a bunch of remit I want to do, so I'll probably do those reviews. And by then, I'll have a better sense of what's going on with YouTube, and then we'll figure out if I'm going to keep going or not. So we'll see about that. I mean, I do have an actual job. I work in higher education. According to Donald Trump, I'm one of the seven antichrists of the world. Go me. And yeah, let me give myself a go me, go me. I'm an antichrist. Go me, go me. Um, but yeah. So depending on sit in the chair of truth. So depending on what happens with YouTube, I may or may not be staying with it. But in the meantime, just to go back to what you were saying, Christina, yeah, the Adonis dolls, I liked them. Um, they were dressed kind of like in weird workout attire, which I already have. And I personally didn't like the face sculpt, which is why I didn't get the Adonis dolls. But I have a feeling I will be getting the next round. So we'll see what their next round looks like. But yeah, they are they definitely had some heat to them. So the two guys, it's Jason Demon and this is and Zhao. Jason Demon and Zhao. So they definitely know what they are doing. So I look forward to seeing what's going on with them. I have to say too, and I was going to show the picture, but pictures don't evidently show up well when I'm trying to show them off my phone. Um, Rement has in the past year gone back. They were doing a whole lot with Snoopy. They were doing a whole lot with Pokemon. But now they've gone back to doing like actual miniatures and miniature scenes. So coming up in March, they have a bunch of male accessories, which include things like an electronic razor and like a man's toiletry bag. And then I put up on Pink Lounge they're gonna do another barware set. Like I have been posting on Pink Parlor for a very long time. I think that's the most any post I've ever gotten has gotten commented or liked. Was that look of all that booze? We have a collective drinking problem. But yeah, Rement made a comeback this year in miniatures, which is funny because they were kind of there over, back like 5 years ago. They were doing dishes, they were doing room sets, they were doing mini luggage, they were doing female accessories. And then for 2019, they did some very heartwarming, like vintage, like grandpa's room, grandma's room. So you had a chance to buy like a vintage radio and vintage telephones. and vintage magazines. I usually call it the 1/7 or the 1/8 scale because they're small. Some of the pieces are smaller than 1/6. The furniture, forget about it. The furniture never works for these guys. But the accessories sometimes do and sometimes don't. I actually do not have any rement in this set. Everything, well, okay. The tree was made by Deborah Stemmons some time ago. Um, and then I can't remember where I bought the fireplace, but the bags came from Doll Divas, and the plates and the teddy bear and the cards. These are all the things I've bought off of Etsy or eBay. So I mean, again, you just have to, you have to Google and you have to look. The the snowman that Tula Bell is leaning up against, that's just something my mom bought, I think from Home Goods or Kohl's. So, and I've got basically this is the back is a tablecloth, and I'm using a pot holder as an elevated platform. So you can build. So I built this set out of various bits and pieces. So my advice is, as always, think about what you want to do. A lot of my pieces right now have to do with vintage because I'm leaning toward East 59th Street and Poppy Parker, and I eventually want to rebuild. And by eventually, I probably mean like within a year, build certain sets from the television series I Spy. So I've bought stuff that looks very 1960s, and I'm going to build rooms that look that way. And I'm always looking to build like a set that looks a little bit more like, well, this is a fashion studio, and here we're talking about fashion dolls, and that makes sense to me. So that's, you just have to kind of know where to look. And I hope that makes sense. Does anybody? It's three people. I know Vince is here. I know Christina's here. Who's the other person that's here? Please say hello. If that's Bill Baker, are you here? Is that the new who? This one? No, the new African American poppy I don't have. I do not have any of the new poppies right now out here. Um Most of these dolls are basically from the last year except for the one in the center.